For where is truth? And when was her footfall heard? Her stands for truth. Truth is feminine. La verite. For where is truth? And when was her footfall heard amid the endless clamor of time's mark? Nobody hears in the market truth, in the bazaar, in the parliament, in the political field. Who knows truth, you see? Nobody knows. Time smart, and which is a voice amid a thousand cries that cross the listening brain and cheat the soul. She cannot. It's true. What he says is true also, you see. Or is truth aught but a high starry name? Is it only a name? Or a vague and splendid word by which man's thought sanctions and consecrates his nature's choice? The heart's wish donning knowledge as its robe, the cherished idea elect among the elect, thought's favorite made the children of half light, who high-voiced crowd the playgrounds of the mind, or people his dormitories in infant sleep. Now there is a big thing here he's making. You are boasting of all that thing. But where is truth after all? That is the whole thing. Truth is only a starry name, and you are boasting of the starry name, etc., etc. Vague. See, while he says, he says same thing. Spacious images, guesses, ambiguities, incertitudes. Behind that, where is truth? You see, this whole idea. You see, if it is not there, it means that it is your imagination. You are giving some kind of a name for that, you see. All things hang here between God's yes and no. This is the most difficult line. All things hang here between God's yes and no. Well, you have got the first two chapters to explain this line in the Life Divine. The ascetic and the materialist, yes and no. Only matter, only spirit. You see.
What is the no of God?
Pardon me?
What is the no of God? When he said
There is no God here. Materialist says it's all from matter. Whatever has come up from matter. There is no God.
Of God. He said the yes and the no of God.
Huh?
So what is the no of God? Between the yes of God and between the no of God. That's what he means,
Yes.
no?
Yes.
So what is the no of God?
No, that is matter. That God is not there.
The matter, it's
Yeah.
the no of God.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh.
We could also say duality.
Yes. In fact, he says here, two powers real, but to each other untrue. Two powers real, but to each other. Where is matter, there is no spirit. Where there is spirit, there is no matter. Yeah. Or your Cartesian dichotomy, mind and matter. Yeah. It is basically referring to the Cartesian dichotomy. And both of them are stars, two consort stars in the moon night of mind. See, they are only in the night, in the mind, not otherwise, you see, in the mind of night. That towards two opposite horizons gaze, one from this end, from the other from the other end, you see. The white head and black tail of a mystic drake, the swift and the lame foot, wing strong, wind broken, sustaining the body of the uncertain world, a great surreal dragon in the sky. It's a very powerful description. most occult. Most occult. Mystic drake, see, with a white head and black tail. White head, superconscious if you want to call it, black tailed inconscious. Mystic drake, the swift and lame foot. The swift, the superconscious, lame foot, limping, moving slowly. Wing strong, wing broken. Sustaining the body of the uncertain world. By these two, the whole world's creation is made. A great surreal dragon in the skies.
But the dragon is the night of mind.
Yeah.
That's actually him.
That is the night of mind, the moon night of mind.
The inconscience.
Yeah, well, mentally.
Inconscience.
No, the mind is not inconscious.
So,
See, consort stars in the moon night of mind.
the dragon is inconscience.
Night of mind. Mind itself is a product of ignorance, of darkness. It is which is moon by night, by mind, and in that night you see the two stars, one here, one there. It is mind which is saying something here and something there.
It's all in the mind.
Yeah. Well, there is a fairly long discussion about that in this book. You see, you can read that thing. The moon night of mind. I will try to. I will send that passage also. Yeah. The white head and black tail of the mystic drake. See, this is the most original description. See how the true surrealist poetry can be. We have got the best example here of surrealism. You see, the best example of surrealism. You see, the white head and black tail of the mystic drake. That line summarizes the whole thing. You see, sustaining the body of the uncertain world, a great surreal dragon in the sky. Too dangerously thy high proud truth must live, entangled in matter's mortal littleness. So this man has read a lot of French poetry, you see, surrealism and all that. Actually, surrealist poetry has come mostly more from the surrealistic painting of the French peoples. There is not much poetry in French, but painting, of course.
Not much poetry in French. Don't say everything because no, he said it's not much poetry in French.
It's true. It's true. There's not much poetry. See, you just
In French or in the French?
in French, very little poetry.
In French?
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of poetry.
See, you imagine the kind of struggle which Mallarmé had to face in writing his poetry. It was so easy in English, but in French he had to really struggle. Mallarmé had to really struggle to write poetry.
I think Mallarmé's poetry is very special, no?
Yeah, very special, you see. After Mallarmé, then started coming out surrealistic paintings. A great surreal dragon in the sky, too dangerously thy high proud truth must live. Thy high proud truth. Too dangerously because of these two things hang between God, yes and no. Entangled in matter's mortal littleness. All in this world is true, yet all is false. Yeah. Its thoughts into an eternal cipher run. its deeds swell to time's rounded zero sum. So all this sum, you take everything together and finally what happens? Zero.
Nothing.
Zero, zero. In words, you have as many positives as negatives, as many yeses, as many no's. When you sum them all together, what happens? Zero.
Only death remains.
All the negatives and all the positives added together, they
That's-
become zero.
That's his vision.
Yeah.
Only.
All in this world is true, yet all is false. His thoughts into an eternal cipher run. Very dense poetry, you see. Its deeds swell to time rounded zero sun. Thus, man at once is animal and God. So, don't be very proud, you see. But don't also lose hope. Don't be proud because you're an animal. Don't lose hope because you're God also. A disparate enigma of God's made.
Ah, that's it.
Yeah, you see, that is what makes it disparate, you see. Disparate enigma. Disparate, dissimilar. 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 Disparate, something which is not, which is opposite to each other, contradictory. Because you are at once animal and God. You are at once made of yes and no. Unable to free the goddess form within, a being less than himself, yes, something more. That is the disparateness of man. The aspiring animal, the frustrated God. See, yeah, Shiva enjoys it. He enjoys it. Yeah. The aspiring animal, the frustrated God, yet neither beast nor deity, but man. He is the bridge between God and man. But man, tied to the kind, earth's labor tries to exceed, climbing the stairs of God to higher things. Now, you have to be a little careful about reading this line. But man, tied to the kind, earth's labor strives to exceed. Man, tied to his own as a species, he is trying to exceed the labor of earth. Kind, to the kind, mean to as a species, as a mental being, he is tied to that. And he wants to exceed his mental beingness. Now don't read this like that. But man tied to the kind earth's labor. This kind is to be read with the first part of this phrase, not with kind earth's labor.
No, it doesn't make sense. First labor is not kind.
See, but man tied to the kind earth's labor tries to exceed. Earth is not kind, you see. This kind here stands for species, not for its quality. But man, you see, Savitri is really very, as an artist, he exploits every situation like that, you see. Now, this kind of a thing does not appear in French poetry.
Yeah, but in French, it's more, this sentence, for example, in French, it's more explicit.
Yeah, but that is exactly what spoils the poetry.
Yeah, but in English, you cannot.
No, in English, that charm is there, that purposeful charm is there.
Yes, more subtle, yeah. But
In French, it is specific, kind.
Specific, yes.
So that is not, so that takes away the poetry.
yeah. No, the poetry, I'm not speaking about the poetry. Because
Meaning wise, I understand.
anyway, when you translate from English to French, it's very difficult to make a poetry.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, it's,
Because you have to
What does he say for kind? Species?
But this line in French, I understood immediately what you said. In French.
Species?
Yes. Because he
Species.
said, look, I will tell you. I must. Okay. Mais homme lié à l'espèce que le labeur de la terre s'efforce de dépasser. It's like if he put mankind to the kind which earth labors.
So you see that remove the poetry. Okay, yeah. Meaning wise, yeah.
But the meaning is immediately
Yeah.
obvious. I mean,
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
you can.
You can play and see it's necessary because of rhythm. It means that you have to bother about the rhythm. But man tried to kind, us labor strives to exceed. Yeah, it has one rhythm. The other one, but man tried to the kind us labor. The rhythm is different, movement is different. Strives to exceed, climbing the stairs of God to higher things.